Well, that turned out pretty well. So I've flown over the maze at Lower Ladysden's Farm, which is growing nicely. So that should be open at some point later in the year. But yeah, so brave pill taken with the drone to get up to its maximum height to get a vertical shot straight down. So yeah. Hi guys, good morning. Quick say hello. You can see me. Hello, hello. Just down at a friend's farm, and they've got a maze. So basically, people can come and obviously have an adventure and go around the maze itself and try and find the middle or whatever. I'm just basically going to photograph it from the air and see how it's getting on, because basically they're cutting it and themselves are mowing it, whatever, to get the route through. So I just want to have a look and see what it's like. There's some sunflowers growing here, which is really cool. So I'll be doing a photo shoot in here at some point, and also flying through. Beautiful bit of land. Can't see, there's a hedge there. But yeah, so let's go and have a fly. Right guys, so taking off, a little boo-boo here. You'll see the drone does something and then just stops. So that should have taken off now, but as you can see it didn't. It's because the ground wasn't level, and one prop literally just touched the ground very, very gently. And it was enough to obviously make the drone realise that actually it wasn't safe to take off. Obviously it hit a prop, so it thought it was jammed. But once I just moved it very quickly, it was absolutely fine, as you can see here. I've sped up the footage, so it looks a bit more erratic, but that's just so it does, so you can see what I was up to a bit more quickly, because I was flying very slowly and carefully, documenting the maze there. I first of all flew around to kind of gauge what it looked like, because I didn't really know from the ground how big it was, because I couldn't actually see. Two, if there was anything more than just trees. Behind where I stood was pylons, a big pylon, so I didn't know if there's any more cables or anything like that running around. So I was just having a quick look around. But also I thought, well, I'll film it as well, and they can have a look and see if they're happy with what they've done. So the maze itself, as in the plant, had only grown up about 2 feet so far. But now, a week or so down the line, it should be sort of 6 foot, I think. So it's way, it just goes nuts. But what a really cool thing. I did a photo shoot in one of the other mazes that they did a few years ago now, when they put an alien spacecraft and stuff in there. That was pretty cool. I'll put a link in the description if you want to have a watch of that video. It was lower down in the farm, so it was it was actually really muddy. But I think this maze, because it's quite high up on the hill, it's probably not going to have anywhere near as much moisture in the ground, especially through the rest of the year. But it's very dry anyway. But as you can see, I'm just cruising around, just looking around, and this is kind of the most overkill. No, it's not overkill, but me flying around, taking a bit of a brave pill, shall we say, pushing my boundaries that I've not really flown that high before. And at the moment, I'm still quite low. It's on a hill, so to our left, where that platform was, is actually on the highest point of that hill, and then it goes down to where I was stood over there. Straight ahead right now, you see the black dot is actually me. The lines of stuff on the left there are the sunflowers, so hopefully they all come out. I think there was one that had started to come out. As you can see, I've flown around as carefully as possible, and like I say, I've sped this up twice, so basically it looks a bit faster and a bit more erratic than normal. And then I started photographing straight down like this. So I snap, and I thought I'll stitch it together with Photoshop, and it didn't really like it, and I suddenly realised why. One, I was at an angle with the camera, and two, the floor was going away, so perspective-wise, it didn't really like stitching it together. But I thought, well, we've got 48 megapixels to play with, so we can do, one image as such, and it should still look okay, which it does, absolutely fine. One thing I do realise I need to do is buy some ND filter kits for it, so I can have a lot smoother footage. This was early in the morning. I think it was about 7:30 in the morning, something like that. The light was quite hazy through the clouds, so it wasn't too much sun. So my shutter speeds weren't too high, so it wasn't too bad. as you can see here, it does look quite cool from certain angles. And there's a few things I noticed while I was up there looking straight down that I couldn't even see and I didn't even know it was there. There was a couple of like really dead old trees which looked really cool, just laying down. Looked really quite interesting. So yeah, I'm getting a lot more brave flying. I'm doing what I do. I'm not one of these people. All these people keep moaning about the range. I'm flying within a few hundred meters of where I am stood. I'm doing this sort of thing. So I'm flying buildings or fields, woodland, particular monuments and things like that. That's what I'm sort of more into. I'm not interested really in flying long distances away. But doing stuff like this, it was totally perfect. I didn't lose any signal at all. Even when I took it up really high, right onto the limit, I think 120-meter limit, might have been slightly over, but I took that in consideration that where I took off from was about 10 meters lower than where I took off from. So it sort of gave me a little bit of leeway on the height limits kind of thing. So, but it does look really cool. It looks amazing when you're looking straight down. I'd never really gone this high before, and I was actually cacking my pants a little bit. You know, I'm like, whoa! And there's that dead tree there, just in between the two trees there on the right hand side. There's one tree there that's fallen down, and there's another one I think somewhere. I think it's further over to the right. But yeah, really, really interesting. It really opened my eyes to what you can do, and it just the way it looks, the 3D feel as you sort of cruise around. It was just really, really cool. Battery wise, it did it with ease. Because there was no wind, I think it wasn't being stressed. It was just cruising about at a nice speed. And I thought, well, let's try and be a little bit artistic here. So I brought the drone straight down above the platform, and I thought, well, if I bring it down and down and down, I can do a bit of rotation or something. It might look quite cool. So I thought, yeah, this is the time I still only had one battery, I think. No, I did have the Fly More kit. I think it just arrived. But I had other places to be able to go to Gasoline Alley and do some motorbike stuff, so I didn't have all that much time to be here. But I will be going back up here shortly now the maze is growing up nicely. So I wanted to do this kind of thing, so it looks really quite cool. And I went off centre, which was one of the things that buggered me a little bit, and then it didn't really work. I needed to go down more and then aim the camera up. Or my other thought was maybe I do it the other way, start down low, looking around, spin it around a couple of times, then go up and look down as I creep up, and then you could play it backwards, as in like in reverse. But I need to play around with that. I'm just learning. The flying thing I find quite easy. One is just trusting it. It's not going to fall out of the sky. It's not going to go too far, and I always limit it. So I had limited it to 220 meters away, which was totally fine. And the height limit, I just put it up to the maximum legal height, and it beeps at me once, and then I put it up a little bit more because I knew about the height difference between the field and where I'd taken off from. So I tweaked it a little bit, and I was just about enough space to get the whole field in to take a picture of the whole maze and everything. So that was really cool. Here's the sunflowers. Hopefully these are out soon. I don't know how they're doing. I need to speak to Susie, the farm owner, and see how they are. But what really cool. It's a beautiful place. So yeah, I'll bring it back into land, and then I'll show you the photo that I'd taken. So the photo was actually what I wanted, and you know, it's as high as I've ever flown. And a lot of people are probably going, yeah, it's, you know, I do it all the time, it's fine. But like I said, in the back of my mind for years, I've always had that one where the drone just buggered off and hit a tree on its own, and it's always been in the back of mind, so I'm always a little bit careful. That's the shot. Did exactly what they asked me to do. Basically, I wanted to see how the maze was looking. Is there any paths that are wrong, so they can either plant more maize or whatever, or cut a few more down to make the paths go together. And just to see how well it looked, really. So I think it looks awesome. The picture itself was really cool, and just to see things from that angle, looking straight down, was just really interesting. So I'm definitely going to use it for more photo shoots and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, you know, a young lady in a lovely dress laying down in a meadow somewhere, looking straight down from above. It's been done before, but I thought, you know, it'd be quite cool. Maybe for a music video, possibly something like that as a video side of things. Yeah, so I thought that would be something to think about. So I'm always just trying to think artistically wise, and it's not just about the flying side of it. But this is where we've got the pylons. So the pylons run straight across, and they're pretty big. And I went over and above them. And this is where I'm not sure what's growing on here. Something is growing. They've got a few different things. They have asparagus, which is amazing. They have loads of fruit and things like that as well. So there's a few workers down below looking straight down. And to show you how quiet the Mini 3 Pro is, they didn't even know I was there at all. Didn't even realise. So it's really, really quiet. Once it's sort of 20 metres above or away, you have no idea at all. There's a couple of people down there doing some planting or whatever they're doing, I'm not sure. But yeah, really, really cool morning, and I was so glad I had calm weather, because I like flying in calm weather, being a little bit safer. I know now that I can fly in up to 25-mile-an-hour winds with absolute no trouble whatsoever. So very, very pleased with that. I did put it up in 45 just as a hover, and it was all over the shop. So definitely don't go anywhere near that sort of wind speed. But yeah, now I'm stood inside, so I thought I'd just test the transmission through glass and inside the building. You see, me in the doorway there, and then I bring it right round the side of the building. It's totally fine. The controller didn't lose any strength at all. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Any questions, thoughts, etc., etc., please comment below. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, little notification bell as well, and I'll see you soon.